You have to walk the talk. You have to be authentic as a leader. If you're not doing it, they see that.
It is entirely universal. There's other people who are going through this.
For me, a great leader needs to be able to marry three things: vision, systems, and people.
Welcome to Leadership Moments. If this is your first time, and if you are returning, thank you for your support.
This show is about leaders from all walks of life, leadership tips, and maybe even a little of what you wouldn't expect to help you in leadership.
We would appreciate it if you tell someone else about our podcast as we strive to support all leaders that want to just be better.
Let's get on with the show.
Welcome back, everyone. And if this is your first time listening, we're so excited that you're here. I'm Stacey Castor, your co-host, executive coach, speaker, and a firm believer that some of the best leadership decisions start with a simple pause. And I have to tell you that today's episode might just be that pause that you've been needing. We're right in the heart of the middle of the year. It is July. Blink, and suddenly we're halfway through. I can't believe it, Tracy Ann. I think you said the same thing. And that's what's inspired today's conversation that we wanted to talk to you about, which is mid-year momentum. Now, for many leaders, this time of year gets swallowed up by metrics, quarterly numbers, sales goals, operational reviews. But here's the truth. Mid-year is so much more than KPIs and dashboards. It's a powerful moment to ask, are you still steering toward the right destination? Are you energized by your work or just running on autopilot? And here's the kicker. Are you missing an opportunity to reimagine what leadership looks like for you and your company? So I'm here with the singer, songwriter, strategic advisor, and speaker, my co-host Tracy Ann, and we are going to unpack exactly how you can use this mid-year moment to reset yourself, refocus your goals, and even reimagine your annual planning.
And I am Tracy Ann Palmer. But before we go any further, I want to ask our listeners something, Stacey. So the question is, when was the last time you reflected on how you're leading, not just what you're doing, but how you're showing up as a leader? This isn't about squeezing more out of your calendar or ramping up results. It's about recalibrating your leadership so it feels aligned again. And we see that so much, don't we, Stacey, just with all the people that we talk to, all of our clients. And today we're going to give you those tools. They don't just push your business forward. They're going to energize you as well. So many leaders I work with feel like mid-year is just another checkpoint. They need to survive, right? All those quarterly reviews. They pull out their strategic plans. They review some charts. They maybe adjust a target here or there, and then they move on. But let's be honest, this kind of surface level review isn't going to move the needle anymore. The world is changing fast. What leaders really need right now is a deep recalibration, not just for the business, but for themselves, their energy, their focus. One of the biggest mistakes I see senior leaders make around this time of year is underestimating how much the landscape has shifted since January. New competitors emerge, customer expectations evolve, talent markets shift, and internally, even your team's priorities and everything that they have going on is changing. So the question is, what are you doing about that? So if you're still chasing the exact same goals you set in January without pausing to reassess, you might actually be heading in the wrong direction faster. That's why we're so passionate about what we're sharing today. So we're going to walk you through two things. A personal reflection process that we both use with leaders called the 3 R's method. And trust me, it's not what you think. And I had to learn how to say my R's in America. And it sounds like I got it right.
Yeah, you did well today.
And then we'll move into how can you start laying the groundwork right now for next year's annual planning, but in a way that sparks bold, creative thinking, not just another rinse and repeat cycle. Who wants that, right? I know your people don't. So whether you're listening on your commute at the gym or maybe even sitting at your desk with your fourth cup of coffee, this episode is your invitation to slow down, reflect, and reset.
Yeah, well said, Tracy Ann. So let's start with you, the leader behind the goals. Because honestly, if you don't reset yourself first, it doesn't matter what strategic plans you create for the business. And so we call this the 3Rs method that Tracy Ann mentioned earlier. It stands for reclaim, recommit, and release. Now, I want you to imagine this isn't just a checklist. It's a leadership audit for your soul. This is about clarity and energy. And here's how it works. Start with reclaim. Ask yourself, what priorities or values have I unintentionally let go of this year? This could be personal. Maybe you promised yourself you'd invest more time in mentoring emerging leaders. We talk about that all the time. Or that you'd finally carve out white space for strategic thinking and it just fell off the radar. Or maybe it's professional, like a project that once excited you, but you allowed it to get buried under operational demands. And we all have these dropped threads. Reclaiming isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. It's about saying, yes, that still matters to me, and I'm going to bring it back into focus. And then we recommit. This is where you ask yourself, what's worth leaning back into fully? We don't want to I'm going to say ass it. Now, not everything needs to be picked back up, but some things do. So maybe there's an initiative you've been half-heartedly pursuing, and now it's the moment to double down and push it forward. Or maybe it's a leadership behavior like intentionally coaching your team or investing in your own growth that's ready for a fresh commitment. And then finally, and this is my favorite, which is release. And it's sometimes the hardest step. This is where the magic happens. You ask yourself, what goals, plans, or responsibilities am I ready to release without guilt or apology? And here's the truth. Most senior leaders struggle with this step, and it's the most because we're conditioned to believe that letting go equals failure. But in reality, releasing something that's no longer aligned frees up space for what truly matters. So I've seen leaders release entire initiatives at mid-year after they've been working on it maybe for multiple years, projects that sunk months into, and because they realized it wasn't serving their people or their future vision anymore. And you know what happened, but they didn't lose credibility. They gained it because their teams could finally see a leader who wasn't afraid to evolve. I once heard a leader say, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So if you've been working hard at something and you realize, you know what, this is no longer serving us, it's the time to do the right thing. And the right thing is to say it's time to stop. So here's my challenge to everyone listening today. Block 30 minutes this week, grab a journal, and go on a long walk without distractions or walk through these questions and say, what do I need to reclaim? What do I want to recommit to? And what am I ready to release? Now, don't rush this. This is, it's not a productivity hack. It's a leadership reset. So take the time that you need to take to do it right.
Oh, Stacey, boy, that was such a great breakdown of the 3Rs. And what I really love about this process is that it naturally sets the stage for what we're going to talk about next, which is the annual plan, right? Now, here's the thing. Most companies still treat annual planning like a transaction. You gather the numbers, you make your budget forecasts, you debate over resources, and you try to predict what the world will look like in 12 months from now. Well, spoiler alert, It's almost always wrong. You know that because we've been through.
Yep.
But the smartest leaders that we work with know that effective planning isn't about getting the budget perfect. It's about setting the right intentions early and creating the conditions for adaptability. Because I can tell you right now, something is going to change. Okay? So be ready. Nothing is black and white. We live in an ambiguous world. So I want to offer 3 questions every leader should ask right now before your company kicks off its formal planning process. Because these 3 questions will stretch your thinking far beyond the typical forecast and budget conversations. So here they are. Number 1, what assumptions from last year no longer apply? Now, I love this one because it forces leaders to acknowledge that changes they've been avoiding. Maybe you assumed hybrid work would fade away, but now it's here to stay. Maybe you assumed certain markets were unreachable, but now your competitors are making moves there. Whatever it is, identifying outdated assumptions is the first step towards smarter, more aligned planning. Question 2. Where have we underestimated ourselves? Now, how often have you asked yourself that question? This isn't about being overly optimistic. It's about recognizing strengths and capabilities that have quietly grown within your team or organization. Maybe your people adapted to new technologies faster than expected. Maybe a small pilot project is showing early signs of serious momentum. This question flips the script from where are we behind to where are we surprisingly strong. The third and last question, what's the bold bet we've been too afraid to make? Every organization has these ideas, the ones whispered about in back rooms or floated in brainstorming sessions, then quickly dismissed as too risky. And what I find most common is your team know what to do, but they don't talk about it. They're talking about it in those back rooms. They're just not bringing it to the table because they're too scared to. But what if that bold bet is exactly what your company needs right now? You don't have to act on it immediately, but at least surface it during the planning conversations. These 3 questions together will help you challenge those assumptions, recognize the hidden potential, and get really courageous about what is next. Because here's the reality. Annual planning isn't about predicting the future. It's about shaping it intentionally.
Yeah, so true, Tracy Ann. And I love those 3 questions. They're a little more unique, hopefully, to people. And you're right, like the annual planning for next year is just right around the corners, and some companies start now. So that's why we're talking about it now. And so now that we've hopefully given you some new thinking, it's time to get it into action. And Tracy Ann and I have a 5 and 5 challenge for you. So here's your challenge for this week, which is 5 leadership actions, 1 each day, that will help you reset, refocus, and reimagine your leadership in just 5 days. So day 1, instead of a typical mid-year review, create a leadership playlist. Pick 3 songs that capture the energy, mindset, or focus you want to embody for the rest of the year. Now, this might sound a little out there, but music does absolutely wonderful things. And so it taps into our emotions that words can't, they can't reach you. And you'll be surprised how clarifying it can feel, and probably energizing too if you pick the right ones. And then day 2, reconnect with one person in your network that you haven't spoken to in at least 6 months. Someone whose insights always challenge or inspire you. Reach out with 0 agenda, just curiosity.
I just love those. Absolutely love those. So day 3, do a ruthless calendar audit. I just did this yesterday, by the way. Eliminate or delegate 2 recurring meetings that no longer align with your priorities. This alone can free up hours and shift your focus dramatically. Day 4, draft your 3 bold bets for next year. These can be wild ideas, market moves, or even personal leadership shifts. You don't need permission. Just brainstorm freely. And then day 5, share one of your reflections, whether from your playlist, your bold bets, or your leadership reset with your team. Vulnerability from leaders inspires authenticity in others. So there you have it, your mid-year reset roadmap. Remember, this isn't just about adjusting goals or fixing plans. It's about reconnecting with your purpose as a leader and setting yourself and your organization up for the next bold chapter.
Right. Leadership isn't about pushing through every moment. It's about pausing at the right ones. And mid-year, this is your moment. In this episode, we hope this episode sparks something for you. We'd love to hear about it. Take a screenshot, share your biggest takeaway on LinkedIn, and tag us so we know what helped you in this episode.
And hey, we're always here for seeing your leadership playlist too. Listen, you can, I'm in the music world, okay? I love music, so please send them over. And until next time, keep leading with clarity, with courage, and a little bit of fun, because we have to have fun. If you enjoyed the show, please go to leadershipmomentspodcast.com to subscribe to the podcast or on your favorite player, as well as follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn.
You can also send us a message on what you like and don't like, or what guest you want us to have on the show.
So until next time,
this is Stacey Castor, and what doesn't challenge you won't change you.
And I'm Tracy Ann Palmer. Be the change you wish to see in the world.